As a leader in the industry, I realized that I am lonely at the top. I went on to look for people who are similarly in the same situation as I am.
I am Hitesh. I have been born and brought up in Dubai. I've never gone out of Dubai forever for education, for anything.
My name is Abhishek Jalan. I'm the founder and CEO of Grovy Real Estate Development.
I've been a banker before. I've worked in a job. And in 2014, I decided to hang up my boots and get into business.
Currently, everyone is just talking about the storm that happened. The insurance industry has been hit really, really bad. Every day we're hearing of claims in millions of dirhams. Almost money has lost its value, it feels.
All the premium they had paid was less than the amount they claimed in that 1 year from the insurance company because Wimbledon didn't happen. So
That's very true. Mukesh Ambani's house, Antalya, it is covered in the same color blue tarpaulin which is covered on the slums. Well, I don't know if the quality is different, but from the distance I see that.
do you ever buy the cheapest makeup?
No,
Why?
because it's the final product.
So what am I doing? The final product. Why do contractors ask for the cheapest product?
I feel here you can build closer bonds with people because obviously you're sharing some intricate details about your life.
Room full of people, and believe me, very, very successful people that day, Abhishek. None of them had designed the destination where they were sitting today.
Why don't we become friends? So he said, you know what, Papa, when I sit with you and share something with you as a friend, then you become my father.
Yes, how do you stay relevant to people you love?
At that time, my children were 2 and 6 months. For me, I was the most relevant in their life at that point.
Ironically, they say your lifetime is not big enough to make the mistakes yourself. So learn from others' experience.
Wow.
You probably at that time didn't find the right reason to learn.
Wow.
Possibly, yes. Hello there. So today we are excited recording the first podcast for Wisdom Exchange Circle. The Wisdom Exchange, something very close to my heart. As a leader in the industry, I realize that I am lonely at the top. And how do I grow when I'm lonely? I'll have my emotions. I need to share my ideas. I need to have different perspectives for what I'm thinking. Now, how do I do that? I got introduced to this beautiful format called forums. And then I went on to look for people who are similarly in the same situation as I am. I have a group of 10 people now. Those are successful leaders, and today I am happy to introduce few of them to all of you and their journey with Wisdom Exchange Circle, which is helping the entrepreneurs, the CEOs, the owners to open up in a confidential space where nobody is judging them. Nobody is speaking about their experiences outside the room and helping them be free, be authentic, and enjoy their journey. Today, I have few gentlemen with me in the room who are here to share their experiences from their industries and also with their journey with Wisdom Exchange. So can I request Hitesh to kindly introduce yourself?
Thank you for having me, Pankaj. I am Hitesh. I have been born and brought up in Dubai. This is my little pond. I have never I've never gone out of Dubai forever for education, for anything. But the way things are going, it's a beautiful pond to be in. I run an insurance brokerage house called Newtech Insurance Brokers. We've been operational for the last 4 years, and by God's grace, it's been a very, very fruitful journey so far. Many learnings, many new things have been adopted to ensure that we are keeping pace with what is going on. And thank you for having me.
That's great. Can I now request Abhishek to kindly introduce?
Thank you, Mr. Pankaj, for having me over here. My name is Abhishek Jalan. I'm the founder and CEO of Grovy Real Estate Development. We are a boutique real estate development firm. We have been in development and contracting for past 5 decades in Delhi, in India, and in 2015 we started our journey in Dubai. I myself have a background of financial products, financial markets, and I feel that's been very crucial for taking Grovy to the next level. And we are having some projects in the pipeline as well, which most likely we'll be launching in the next 60 days.
Okay, that's
That's
great.
about me.
You know, now I would request my very old friend Nitin to introduce himself.
Well, hi friends. Thank you, Pankaj. Well, I've been in Dubai since 2004, and I've been a banker before. I've worked in a job, and in 2014 I decided to hang up my boots and get into business. And that's when we were looking for opportunities in the market, and we identified GTGC Technical Services as a company to get into. And we're a painting services company. We're a painting contracting company. Well, most people feel or think of painting as painting your house. What they don't realize is painting is beyond that. We paint every structure. The structure could be of metal, could be of gypsum, could be of concrete, and we paint them all. So we've painted the Museum of the Future, as we have painted the Royal Atlantis, and your house. Probably we've done that because we work with a lot of developers, and the house you hold probably was painted by us. Now, we are a makeup artist for your house, as I like to call, it's an immovable asset. I can go on my business because I'm passionate about the painting services that we provide, but I'm sure we have more better things to discuss, but we'll come back to them later on. Over to you, Pankaj.
Definitely, we will come back to it. So, let's focus on first about your industries and getting to know more about in your industry what is happening. What is that one thing which you can share with our audience?
Currently, everyone is just talking about the storm that happened on 16th of April. The insurance industry has been hit really, really bad. So anyone who is related to the insurance industry is directly affected and reeling with what has been happened there. Every day we're hearing of claims in millions of dirhams. Almost money has lost its value. It feels like that, and it's a tough time for our industry. Big corrections, big changes, good, bad, we are yet to find out. But right now, I think the UAE insurance industry is weathering the biggest storm it's ever seen, literally and metaphorically.
I completely agree with you, Hitesh. And most of the times when any natural
Catastrophe.
calamity comes, this kind of things are hitting the insurance industry, safeguarding the common man, and that's what the industry is meant for. I understand,
Correct.
but definitely nobody wants that to happen.
Yeah.
Yet, I would want to sincerely, pass my gratitude to the UAE government to literally request people and the companies to be human at this time and look at individuals, because if they have lost something and they need a support, that's what we are here to support them.
I completely agree. The UAE government, the way they've handled this, much more advanced countries, which we think are advanced, wouldn't have been able to cope with this situation the way they have. Not only on an infrastructure point, when it comes to making sure businesses get back to normal, providing aids, helping out their own. And I don't remember reading anywhere that UAE had to reach out for aids.
Yeah.
Much larger economies have gotten aids if they had a storm like this.
Right.
But hats off to the UAE government, the way they've handled it.
That's fantastic. That is fantastic. And one thing I would want to know from you after this instance, what do you feel the common man should be taking care of while ensuring things for their home, for their businesses, their cars?
One ideal change that I would want to see, obviously, is that people should be a little bit more learned about what they are buying. You should not buy something just to tick a box. You should check what it actually covers me for, rather than buy it just to tick a box to get my mulkiya passed. I buy my motor insurance, but I don't know what is actually covered, what is not covered. Same for other lines of insurance. I'm not trying to sell anything, but the whole point is that I would want people to get more learned about what they are protecting and what they aren't protected against.
Very, very true. So, flood was something which nobody would predict that it will happen in Dubai and we'll see such rain and such damages. Luckily, I have always been buying, third-party insurances. I've always been whenever I'm taking car insurance, I go for the executive one, make sure everything is covered, whatever possible.
Yeah.
And I came across some people who had only bought third-party insurance. So they could not claim anything.
Yeah.
Just imagine the time you were buying the insurance, you might have saved few hundred dirhams. But today, it has costed you your entire investment in your car.
So penny wise, pound foolish. We've been living that day in and day out since the last 1 month.
Hitesh, I love what you said, and it's while say it is good, but at the same time, at times we don't know what. So what you said, that learn a bit more
Yeah.
before what you are doing. You might save something today, but is it risking a bigger thing? So
Exactly.
like if I don't pay parking ticket thinking I'll save 3 dirhams on a risk of getting a ticket of 300 dirhams,
Yeah.
right? So I say, no, I'm just coming. So earlier there was a culture of putting the car in the parking light and come back in 5 minutes because a human traffic policeman is coming and giving you a ticket. He would say, okay, this guy is coming. But today I see those 360-degree camera cars, right?
Fair.
So they'll simply give you a ticket,
Yeah.
right? So being very, very cautious, you very correctly said.
I think a very interesting thing which you just said. I remember during the COVID fiasco, there was a cover because of COVID. Wimbledon was cancelled,
Yeah.
and Wimbledon had been paying insurance from the time they've started to cover the risk of
Pandemic.
pandemic or any event because of which Wimbledon would have to be cancelled. So I remember I don't remember the exact numbers, but it said
It was.
all the premium they had paid was less than the amount they claimed in that 1 year from the insurance company because that thing happened and Wimbledon didn't happen. So
That's very true. So Abhishek, I see that smile on your face. In your industry, you are a developer. You make buildings, and a lot of buildings had water inside them during this. What do you feel? How would you act differently while constructing those buildings?
Well, definitely leakages has been there in a lot of buildings. Water cuts, power cuts has been there. Water supply has been cut off. I feel waterproofing is something which cannot be, even compromised a single bit. What we see on sites, there are many inspections and checks which are done from the developer, from the contractor, from the consultant, but a lot of them get skipped because of the cycle of the project.
Yeah.
So it is very important that some things like waterproofing should not be, even 5% should not be avoided
Neglected,
or neglected in any way.
So you're very, very true. If you look at it, you said you have been into 5 decades. You have been into the construction industry with your family. Like India, Delhi, we have been from Delhi. We are born and brought up in Delhi. Cities like Kerala, cities like Mumbai. Over there, the waterproofing is like most important part. They look at it because we understand that there is higher probabilities of rains. But in this country, we never expected that. Right?
Well, that is not the only parameter. Actually, the residents also understand that yes, we need to make sure our drainage system is clean.
Yeah.
Our roofs are empty. There is no debris, no soil, sand, or leftovers, or maybe flowers or something, leaves. Over here, the issue is if the balconies or the terraces are being used for a certain time period, it is being maintained. If it's not being used, no one is accessing them. There's only dust accumulation. When that happens, most of the older buildings are not using the technology in the drainage system wherein sand gets trapped. Nowadays in new construction that is happening. And if we notice in terms of the flooding that happened, most of the older communities suffered more than the newer communities. Newer developments had less damages than older developments. It is not only the developer, it is also making sure that you are maintaining your asset, your property.
I understand. So it's a joint responsibility.
It is a joint
right?
responsibility.
And I appreciate that. At the same time, I'll share one of experience from Mumbai. Mumbai is the capital city of India, and I went to Mumbai and I saw all the buildings are outside. They are very, very restricted. They're in bad situation. I came back and one of my friend who was like very proud of being Mumbaikar, I said, boss, tell me one thing. You have got so much money. You can't paint your buildings well, right? And he said, Pankaj, it is all about, the rains and the climate there, right? We do as much as we can. I witnessed, Mukesh Ambani's house, Antalya, covered in what we say, the plastic wraps, right? Because it was raining. Boss, can't believe it. It is covered in the same color blue tarpaulin which is covered on the slums. Well, I don't know if the quality is different, but from the distance I see that. And where the interesting topic comes, I was talking to Nitin. So Nitin bhai, now considering that rain is a possibility in Dubai, what kind of paints do you suggest people to use for their exterior?
The irony is, as I said, painting goes beyond the house. So we actually paint ships, we paint oil rigs, and we paint containers which hold water. So we are actually dealing with products which are completely submerged in water, not waiting for a rain to create a havoc. But yes, to answer your question straight, there are good and efficient paints which provide you a longevity, elasticity to protect you from the direct impact of either damages or leakages. So you can actually do a paint which can protect you even if you don't have a waterproofing from the paint.
Oh.
But ironically, and this is probably Akash can throw a little more light on, for contractors, paint is largely about 3% of the total project value. So they never look at it as a go-to service which should be prioritized. And I always say in my industry that we are the makeup artists. Normally, and they say this joke with a little beating by my wife is, my wife always gets late because she's putting the lipstick, and I'm the lipstick artist, right? Do you ever buy the cheapest makeup?
No,
Why?
because it's the final product.
So what am I doing? The final product. Why do contractors ask for the cheapest product?
So, the beauty is, I feel there will be a change for us as a consumer, for you as a service provider, for you as a developer, and for you as a painter. And what you said, the designer, right?
Yes.
The things will change because my demand will change. Because now I have experienced something which I had not done earlier, right?
Yeah.
So now I'll be more cautious checking these things. And somehow this is our first podcast and this has happened and we started conversing, and it is a topic which can really be helpful for a lot of people. Very recently we were having a BNI Expo and we had expert roundtables, right? There we handpicked these topics, like while you are doing interior of your house, while you are doing construction of your house, how can you protect yourself from such uncertainties? These things can happen again. So we need to be more cautious, and that's a wonderful one. So anything else? I would like to again go back to Hitesh and ask Hitesh, anything else you want to add or give a message more than learn more, right? What common precautions, even if you are not a learner, you can take when you are buying your home insurance, car insurance, or even health insurance?
Do a bit more research about who you're buying it from. L1 or the lowest price is not the most attractive offer. There are going to be certain times where things are going to be out of your control, like this situation. In that, even if you've bought insurance from the best of the best, you will have to go through
Some pain.
pain. So in that situation, just be a little bit more prepared. If everyone knew that the rain is coming, it wasn't
Very,
probably a wise decision to park your car in the basement.
Very true. Very true.
And one request from everyone who has had concerns in the last 1 month and will continue to have, and for the next 2 months, is be patient.
Yeah.
The infrastructure of UAE, the infrastructure of the garages, of the auto spare part owners, of the insurance company was not built for
Handling
this.
all this thing together. Yeah.
They are stretched out from end to end, and they're still unable to control what is going on.
That's a very beautiful message, that in such times patience is required. So while we are talking about patience, Hitesh, I remember you were among the very first person who joined into the Wisdom Exchange Circle.
Yeah.
How would you explain Wisdom Exchange Circle to somebody?
For me, Wisdom Exchange has been, I wouldn't say life-changing, but it's nothing short of life-changing. There's been validation, there's been growth, there's been learning, there's been networking, with meeting different people. It's been everything. So trying to put it in one sentence or trying to explain to someone what Wisdom Exchange is, I don't know if I'll be able to do justice to that. I would just say, come have a look.
Wow.
Because I wouldn't know what to say.
You know, I remember very initial days, some gentleman came and he says, yeah, you are asking questions like which looks like we are in a school. And I had a person in the room who was experienced in the forums. He said, exactly that's the point. We want you to be as authentic, as pure, as open as you were in the school. You used to openly tell everything to your friend and live happily because there is no burden out here,
No
right?
filters.
In this room, we want to establish that same environment for you, that same confidence for you. Nobody is judging you. Nobody is, talking about this outside this room. And you can be freely share what you have. Nobody will point a finger on you that you are right or wrong. The only thing we'll do is we will share what is our perspective of your situation or what is a resonating experience we have had. So if I need to pick up on Abhishek, what is that one biggest learning? If you have a moment in the wisdom exchange room so far, what is that? If you like to share.
Wisdom Exchange is a good platform where you don't get to network a lot. So I'm quite sure all of us are in a certain position where we can't really network that much outside work. So I feel here you can build closer bonds with people because obviously you're sharing some intricate details of about your life, and that will eventually lead to making good bonds like how you used to make in school. And that can go a long way. I mean, you would be surprised the kind of connects you will get from people, the kind of assistance people are looking for, the kind of business ideas which are being generated. So it's not only something that will bring maybe better business down the line, but also personal growth. So I feel that's very important.
The change in the overall personality is the golden nugget of wisdom exchange. When I share some challenge of mine, and I hear Hitesh sharing his thing, you sharing his thing, Nitin bhai sharing his thing, and then other members, I am listening. When I am listening, I am getting to see things with different perspective. Believe me, I have had some serious breakthroughs into these rooms. You know it, the breakthroughs I have. The one rule was, how do you stay relevant? Right? How do you stay relevant to people you love? So in the modern era, your kids, right? You are very much relevant until the time you need to pay for their bills, you need to pay for the things. But today, the kids go abroad. They don't stay with you longer because they want to grow in their life, and there is nothing wrong in that. But have you developed enough relation, enough friendly relation, enough mentor relation with your kids that you stay relevant beyond the money and beyond that, our Indian culture, like, no, parent,
Yeah.
right? Beyond that father, son. No, not because of that, but a personal connect, a personal relevance. And that was the learning I received from Wisdom Exchange. Believe me, that pays for all my time and attention and energy I spend with Wisdom Exchange. Because that has helped me tremendously.
Great.
Right? Nitin bhai, any experience which you have with Wisdom Exchange members or in the room which you feel worth sharing?
So just taking off from where Hitesh and Abhishek have left and what you've pointed out, I think Wisdom Exchange has given me a great platform to first bounce my ideas with the people around, because there is always somebody in the room who's had either an experience or an encounter where just by sharing their own outcome of it, you get a resounding message of, okay, what you're thinking may be in the right line or the wrong line. What could be the outcomes? That's one part of it. Second part of it, even when you're there in the room and listening to other people share their journey, you learn a lot.
Yeah.
So I learned a lot from staying relevant.
Yeah.
I learned a lot from another conversation because we said, should we be responsible for our children's future and career? And we were in a room full of people who said, we didn't plan to be where we are today.
Yeah, I remember that session.
That was a really
room full of people, and believe me, very, very successful people that day, Abhishek. And none of them had designed the destination where they were sitting today. They have all designed something lower than what they had, but God had bigger plans for them. And that day we discussed this.
That day was a great take home for me because I was thinking my son is in grade 10, what kind of a career should he choose, should I push him this, should I push him that? I said, hello, relax, let him be on his own.
Fair.
It's his choice, it's his destiny, and if I try to control it, I'll probably not be relevant in his life, and I may give him a wrong choice.
Yeah.
So it's just it's just very different. And ironically, I was listening to Kapil Sharma the other day, and there was Sunny Deol on the show. So Sunny Deol says, Dharam Paji told him once that why don't we become friends? So he said, you know what, Papa, when I sit with you and share something with you as a friend, then you become my father.
Yes, very, very true. I remember seeing that. That when I sit with you as a friend and I share, you immediately become the
Become my
father.
father. Correct.
So how do you hold yourself in that friend shoe? Because that will lead you to be relevant with your
Correct.
child.
So suddenly, if you see different conversations at different points in time, in different reasons, have connected together to make relevance for yourself.
Great.
And Hitesh, and anything you want to add, Abhishek, you want to add? You remember that you were part of that session.
Yeah, it was a very, very, very heavy session. I remember walking out very overwhelmed because at that time my children were 2 and 6 months. So for me, the topic of being relevant was not even there. For me, I was the most relevant in their life at that point. But I got to learn so much. And then I could connect it to my father, my relationship with my father as well. And what things has he done or not done. And yeah, it was a beautiful session.
I say as a father, we do whatever we can, whatever is in our power.
Yeah.
But what we miss is to understand what is required by them. Right? We never go and ask our child, what do you need? What do you urge for? Right? And give them that. We rather give them what we feel best.
Yeah.
Right? And I learned a lesson in the leadership from there. Now, when my teams, let's say I have money to give them, I have time to give them, I have upskills to give them, like I can work with them to upskills. Do I ever ask them?
What do you want?
Or I do what I want to do? What do they want? What if I give them what they want? And when I do that, will that be more powerful for them? And that was the learning of what? I don't even remember where we started all that conversation, right? When we were sharing the wheel of life, and we said where we are in with the space of wheel of life, and then everybody scored. I remember I gave myself a very low score for relationship with the kids at that time.
Yeah.
Can you believe at that time I remember I given 2 or 3 out of 10 to me. Today where do I stand? I stand at 8 and 9 with my child. That's a overwhelming learning for me. And yes, at times you are overwhelmed and you will pump out something, but at least you are aware of what needs to be done. So Abhishek, you haven't said something. I want to hear from you. Any aha moment of yours?
Not at the moment, but I do feel that it is definitely helping in the sense. Initially, I remember having this discussion. The thought of joining something like this was very new for me. But yeah, I mean, for personal growth, there has to be change. I mean, there are things we do on a regular basis and things don't go anywhere. So that thing had to be changed. And I feel this is something which we will definitely...
The most beautiful part of Wisdom Exchange, it's not only about business.
True.
And if you notice, all of us have a different skin tone, on our faces when it is going and discussing in our personal life, our family, our relations. Whatever we are doing, what is the base cause for that? The base cause is definitely the family. Is that connect? Is that love? Right? The more when we are in this kind of a form, it takes a little time for everybody to go vulnerable, right? But when you start going vulnerable, believe me, I say you go 1 inch down in the vulnerability, your experience will go 10 feet high, right? In wisdom. And that's what the power of Wisdom Exchange is, right? And if there is one thing, let's say, Hitesh, let me start again with you. If there is one thing which you would like to share or tell the audience of this podcast, right? You understand our wisdom exchange is not something which we are selling a membership. No,
Correct.
we are not selling a membership. There is no cost involved here. We are coming together to help each other grow as a leader, because definitely Marshall Goldsmith have said, what has brought you here will not take you there.
Correct.
And we are all looking to be somewhere else in our journey.
Agreed.
And that's where we are willing to support each other.
Yeah.
And so, what is that one message you would like to give to the audience of this podcast?
First of all, I think there is an investment. The biggest one we have, it's time.
Yeah.
We all, in our own rights, are doing something important in life. So the fact that everyone gives their time is a big investment. And I think as of now, that is the only thing we are investing in this. The one message that I would want to give everyone is that you can't, if you've started to feel that you're hitting a ceiling and you don't know where to go, I think Wisdom Exchange is a good starting point to grow, to learn from people who've done it, which for me was the most important or the only selling fact. There are so many business coaches out there who've read 30 books and can speak very fancy, but I always feel they lack substance. But when you talk to a person who's done it, who's had tough days, come out on top, and continues to grow, it's learning from them is more valuable than any MBA you do.
Very, very, very true. Because you are learning from their real experiences.
Correct.
Right, and especially the format where we are very vigilant that nobody should be saying somebody like, you are wrong, right? Because we are not in the position where we are ready to accept somebody telling us, no, you're doing wrong. This is not the way, right? So we want people to say this is like how we want to do it, right? So let me ask Abhishek. What is your message to people who are listening?
So I read a lot of business books, self-help books, kind of things. So generally in these books you will find activities to do. So like, okay, fine, make a list or do something like that. So when I'm reading those books, I read those procedures and I just move past it.
Yeah.
So what happens in wisdom exchanges, we also implement it. So there are people to force us, to guide us, and to make sure we do that. And it's a safe environment in the sense that, as you rightly mentioned, there is no right and wrong. You might be doing it for the first time, you might be doing it for the 100th time. Obviously the strategy, the procedure will change from first to 100, but at least there is a starting point. Because generally in these books, as you mentioned, 30, 100 books people have read, but they don't implement those procedures. And you end up learning stuff. You end up learning things which is you didn't know about your business. Things like that. And that has been really helpful.
So there's a lot of moment. Na? We say and wah. We say, oh my God, I'm not doing it right. And it's just by the experience. Nobody even knows that we found a mistake. Right? If we don't share to the room, we have learned it, nobody knows. And that's what leaders really want to keep that.
Yeah.
I don't want to say, oh my God, I learned it, I was doing it wrong. Many times, right?
Yeah.
I would not want to be expressive on my mistakes. But learning is important. And I get to learn in the room very, very beautifully. And another most important thing, all these people, they have become like friends, like family.
Yeah.
And we have encounters where like we have come together, stand like family. We are meeting nearly every month, right?
Yeah.
So personally we are meeting, we are connecting on different levels. Nitin bhai, your message.
Ironically, they say your lifetime is not big enough to make the mistakes yourself. So learn from others' experience.
Wow.
So you have a room full of successful people. What stops you putting your time there to learn something from them? Because each of them have succeeded against a challenge, which you may have not faced. It may be coming in your way.
Yeah.
So, and then they say, you're as good as the room or the people that you're around.
Yes.
Yeah.
Your average of 5 people around
Correct.
you, right?
So now you are with people who are successful. You're people with businessmen, and you're members with people or friends with people who are willing to share their experience with you, who are willing to, without judging you, share their experience of a situation you're facing. I personally had a life experience which you all are aware of, and it was so overwhelming. The kind of support I got, and you know what my wife said, if there is one thing I will not let Nitin stop, is being part of this network. Because in a foreign country, we're all visitors here, we're all guests here, we don't have a personal network. So for me, this has also, beyond a network of support, has also become a dependable network where if I have to pick up the phone to somebody at 1 o'clock at night and expect to get help, I know at least these 7-8 people who will answer the phone.
Very, very true.
Yeah.
Very, very true. And when it comes to me, I have been meeting people. We are all part of BNI also. And luckily, with the success of our wisdom exchange circles, how it is helping, I have been able to identify some people there. When I see a member very successful, I'll speak with them. I'll share with them what we are doing here. And the beauty I love here, and which I would want to retain always, is that I don't decide who is coming up in the group. I put their profile to the entire group. And if any single person will have objection, I would not put that person in the group. I'll not encourage them to come into the group. The harmony and understanding between the member of this group is the most important thing for me.
Yeah. And we've put in so many hours to get there.
Right?
Yeah.
See, we have been together for over 1.5 years or more now.
Yeah.
Almost, yes.
Nearly we are touching 2 years. And we have an understanding. And now we want to bring somebody. No, there is no push.
Yeah.
Yes. Indeed, we discussed something like, why don't we throw a kind of a event together, and where we can invite people and where we can understand them. And definitely in one group, I can never put more than 10 people, right? Because in Wisdom Exchange and the forums, it's been said that more than 8 in a room, you'll get disturbed.
Yeah.
You can't really run the formats. And even this year, I am committed. I have registered myself. I have done my first session already onboarding to be a certified forum facilitator.
Oh.
Right? Why to invest time and money into that? Because whatever I am doing, if I can take it to another level of perfection and bring better benefit to the people who are together, why not? So I will complete that by maybe next 60 days. That will be done. So then I'll be a certified forum facilitator.
Very good.
So I love adding one title, one accreditation. Maybe I didn't study very well as a child. I was an average student. Now I'm trying to pay back and spend time, money, do some certification each year. And that's I'm
वो टीचर जिसने वो मुर्गा बनाया था बहुत खुश है.
seriously. And
Her soul might be happy.
believe me, those teachers of mine, those had always seen me and they wanted me to do more than what I do. But I am a guy who says, boss, I'm okay. I'm chilling.
Yeah.
So, chill is okay. But
You probably at that time didn't find the right reason to learn.
Wow.
possibly, yes.
Very well
Possibly, yes. I didn't know why. Why should I do this? It's okay.
Yeah.
Because my aspirations were to be just join my father's business, do nothing else. And life had a completely different story written for me, and which I am doing here today. And I'm very inspired. Indeed, when you remember the communication around when I said I will write a book, and Shelly, my wife, she said, "Have you gone mad?" Right? From hardly reading a book to thinking of writing a book, that was all the journey we have been through. And from my side, if one message I want to give to the audience of this, if you are successful, remember you need people around you who are in your same pace, because you need to discuss, you need to open up, you need to let go those feelings in your heart. And when you have such a place, you will thrive much faster, much better, and most importantly, you will be happier. there is nothing right or wrong. And this is statement, there is nothing right or wrong. Yesterday, I was helping some kids to compete into English speaking competition in UK, 39 countries.
Wow.
One of the kid from India is my friend's son, and their teachers and principals, they had invited us to listen to this speech. And the title was, Nothing is right or wrong. It is only your thinking which makes it right or wrong.
Agreed.
Quoted by Shakespeare. We think like something is as new as we are saying it now. No, it was quoted by Shakespeare. So, with that, we would like to end this podcast for today, and we'll welcome you again next month. We will invite some more people from our group and will share their experiences. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having us, Pankaj.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.